I think it's agreed upon Aaron Jones is the big dog in this free agency class. I don't think there's anyone that comes close to you guys, like as far as talent-wise or who could help a team win right away.
I do, but no one's going to agree with me.
Who is that? Kenyon Drake, let me guess.
No, blacklisted. No. My boy Jamal Williams, dude. I'm telling you, this guy's a starter waiting to play, and every time he played, he balls out. And this is why I like this free agent list right now, because in my mind, if it goes right, I see a couple more running backs that we gain that eases the harshness of missing out on the top guy. You can get someone valuable. So
yeah,
I'm excited to talk about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Justin and I talked about Jamal Williams all season long last year. He's definitely undervalued. So let's start with Aaron Jones, and I'll go to you first, Joe. You know, I'm sure you've thought about this prior to us doing this show. Like, where do you think this man is going to end up this offseason?
Man, it's tough. I don't think he's going to end up back in Green Bay. As much as he's been great there, I just don't see how they come up with the money with some of the other holes that they have. Now, maybe they figure out a way to bring him back for a 1 year or 2 year deal, but I almost feel like somebody's going to pay this guy, right? Whether it's the Jets doing a typical Jets move and trying to bring in a running back like a Le'Veon Bell that they've done, or other guys that they've done, or maybe even, I don't know, I'm looking at this list. It's tough to see somebody that really has a super big need, but you just never know. So I would say I think some team comes out of left field similar to what we saw with Melvin Gordon last year. I don't think that Green Bay hits his number, and this is his one big contract, and I think he's done enough to deserve that, right? So I think someone's going to come out of left field. They're going to give him close to top 5 running back money, and he's going to end up there. And hopefully it's a good situation, man, because Aaron Jones makes fantasy football better. The guy's exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I think all of us from a fantasy perspective want him back in Green Bay just because it's such a good fit. When
if you're an A.J. Dillon owner.
Yeah, I mean, Jacobs was beating his drum all last year, so maybe if Aaron Jones is out, Dillon could be the next man up. So, yeah, I mean, but A.J. Dillon's a perfect example of why you don't go and pay Aaron Jones.
Him and Williams are out. So, I mean, as far as we know, they're not going to go spend money on a big free agent if it's not Aaron Jones. So, I think Dillon will be the guy.
Yep. Well, I think they end up bringing one of those guys.
They'll bring somebody else in, like either Jamal Williams or a Jamal Williams guy.
Player. Yeah.
And then he'll play alongside Dillon, who will get most of the rushing, I think.
Exactly. I can see Jamal Williams back, and we'll talk about
all your answers.
Joe, did you say where you think he's going to end up, or you don't have a team necessarily?
I mean, if I had to guess today where he goes, I would say that he ends up on the Jets, but it's tough, man. Like I said, somebody's going to come out of left field, and I don't really have the spot. But I like I said, maybe Green Bay brings him back for a 1 or 2 year deal, or maybe the Jets offer him something like 4 years, $40 million, and he just can't turn it down.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Justin, you said you have all the answers, man. Bless us.
I got you right now. It's easy. You just have to look at a few things right now. Is he a winner? Does he want to win? And who wants to win with him, right? So it sounds difficult to decipher that, but you got to look at one team sticks out wholeheartedly. That's the Cardinals, and I'll tell you why. It's not the Raiders if that's what you're hoping for, Gabe, but let me tell you why it's the Cardinals. The reason is because if you ever had Aaron Jones the past few years, there's one thing that you always said as a fantasy football owner. Can he just get more touches, please? Can he get more touches? He just doesn't need a lot of touches to make these big splash plays happen. So you pair him up with Kyler Murray, who we see doesn't really give the rock to the running backs a whole lot. So we're already knowing that he's not going to get a lot of touches, but he's still going to do the work needed. Drake's not that guy. You slot Jones in, beautiful complement back with Edmonds behind him, similar to a Jamal Williams. And boom, you have maybe the best team in that division, or you definitely got better in my eyes. So if I'm the Cardinals, I work the money around, get Aaron Jones in there, and make a run this or next year. That's with Hopkins there. That's what I'm looking at if I'm their GM.
Hey man, that's not a bad move, man. Their offense would be Very difficult to stop. Gabe, you have any differing ideas on Jones?
Oh, I do, and you guys are gonna like it. Trust me. It's a hot take, but it's a good one. And it's look, Justin mentioned that Aaron Jones is a guy that doesn't need a lot of touches to make things happen. Now, this team that I have him going to isn't necessarily looking for a running back right now. They're actually heavily interested in the QB market. They also hail from Northern California, and they're not the former Oakland Raiders. They're the San Francisco 49ers. I think that Matt LaFleur's offense is a perfect fit for Aaron Jones. Now, you think about it. Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman both gone to free agency, unlikely to return. They have Raheem Mostert. He's so injury prone. You bring in a guy who is willing to win, like Justin said. How much is he willing to win? Well, he's going to have to sacrifice some value. Now, this is his one contract, and this is likely his payday contract. I just think if it all adds up, that offense is going to provide him with limited opportunities to keep him healthy, but enough to get him his fantasy relevance at an all-time high. And I love it.
He would look nice in the Niner jersey, I'm not going to lie, but that's interesting to take.
Yeah, look, I would love that as a Niners fan, but it's not going to happen. And look, I would love it on a cheap deal, but that's not going to happen.
And the reality is, guys, Mostert had an amazing 2019, and we still were hesitant to pay him. Do you guys remember that?
So he's extended until 2022, but he's just so injury prone, man. And they like to run multiple running backs. So
yeah. No, by the way, we don't have LaFleur anymore. He left with Saleh.
He's in Green Bay. Shanahan.
Sorry, Kyle Shanahan.
But we did have LaFleur's little brother or something, but he left with Saleh. So you were on the right track. But
well, the thing is, a lot of people say they all run the same scheme, like LaFleur, Shanahan. Same shit.
But listen, man, we're not going to pay a running back what it costs to get him. He's going to make 12 to 15.
Well, he's going to be the highest paid running back on this list.
One interesting thing to note, Jacob, which I didn't know this, and I just saw this right now. Aaron Jones reportedly turned down a deal in January from the Packers that would have paid him as a top 5 running back. I did not. Oh my
goodness! If that's true, unless he doesn't want to play in Green Bay, he should have taken that if that's true.
Yeah, knowing that now, I think there's a better chance that he ends up back in Green Bay, because if they're willing to step up and give him that money, they clearly view him as an integral part of the team.
Well, Rodgers wants him back.
Yeah, and they can't piss off Rodgers. So, listen, it's either going to come down to a team like the Jets giving him stupid money that they're going to regret in a year, or he goes back to Green Bay.
Yeah, I think Jones wants to get paid. I think, look, he's played with Aaron Rodgers his whole career. It's not like he hasn't played in playoff games. Mm-hmm. He's not desperate for playoff wins, I don't think. Maybe he is, but I think he wants to get paid more than he wants to win a Super Bowl, and I don't blame him for that.
And wasn't he like a later round pick? Like a 4th round pick?
Yeah, he wasn't
5th round pick.
Yeah, so I think he's going to get paid, and I think I look at the scenarios, and look, I know we had a lot of, unsigned free agents or undrafted rookies emerge this year, but it's a weird thing in the NFL where like they talk about, I forget what the term is, but like your value, like if you were drafted in the 1st round, like they feel like they have to play you. If you're undrafted, they don't really care. They're more willing to move on. So I think there's a possibility that somewhere like Miami brings him in. And I say that because I don't think any of those guys solidified the job as like the workhorse running back. At first I was going to go Jaguars because I don't think James Robinson solidified his job either. I think they brought in a new coach. I don't think he's locked in RB1 going into next year. I think they're going to bring somebody else in. I don't think it's going to be the Jaguars, though. I think somebody like the Dolphins will bring him in, and that team is ready to win. They just look, if Tua can improve, and they were just playing carousel with their running backs all year. They had a guy like Aaron Jones. I think he could really help them. So I think somewhere like the Dolphins.
Jacob, I don't disagree that Gaskin didn't do enough to, and Gaskin with today's modern, NFL.
Oh, so the
RBs.
I was looking for is draft capital.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I think you're going to say, James, you do believe James Robinson earned the role, but I've heard other NFL people talk about this, saying because they brought in a new coach and all this stuff, like that he's not necessarily like it's not locked in that that's his job.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have a running back that's produced 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 355 yards on the ground, the guy had basically a 1,500-yard season undrafted, and he's costing you nothing. I understand what you're saying that, listen, maybe they bring in another guy to challenge him on that role, and I don't disagree with that, but I can't justify my team. I would be upset as a Jaguar fan. And by the way, he did that in 14.
If they went and spent money on Aaron Jones.
$15 on Aaron Jones?
You already have. I agree with that. See, that's the thing. It's not like they need Aaron Jones. And that's why I'm leaning more towards Miami, to be honest. Where, look, they have like $25 million in cap space. Maybe he goes at a discount because, hey, he gets to live in Miami.
Yeah.
So, and guys like this, they want to go live in places like that. So I think that the Dolphins would be a decent fit for him.
Yeah.